You can add a list of places to your Google Business profile and they're called your service areas. It's basically the specific places that your business covers and they show here. But this feature is often misunderstood and there's probably a lot more to it than you realise. So in this video, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about your service areas. And make sure you stick around to the end because I'm going to give you a really effective tip that will help you to smash your competition. The first thing I need to make absolutely clear is, despite what a lot of people say, your service areas play no part in where your business shows in search results. So many people wrongly believe that all you need to do is list the places where you want to show on Google and you'll appear in searches when someone is looking for a business like yours in that location. This is not true. So if they don't help you to show up in searches, what's the point of them? Why are they important? And how do you use them correctly? Well, there are actually three types of Google Business profiles, and depending on which one applies to you, you'll need to use service areas in a different way. The three types of businesses are location-based, service-based, and hybrid businesses. If you're a location-based business, it means you have a physical location, like a shop, an office, or a restaurant, and people come to you to buy from you. So you have your street address showing on your profile. People find you and they navigate to your location. But if you run this type of business, you shouldn't have any service areas set in your Google Business profile. You don't cover any areas, people come to you, so you shouldn't add a list of places to your profile. If you're a service-based business, then you don't have a physical location like a shop or an office, and you go to your customer's location to deliver your services. This is businesses like plumbers, gardeners, mobile hairdressers, and pest control. So you shouldn't have your street address showing on your profile, but you do need to add your service areas. Then there's the third type of business, which is hybrids. This is where you have a physical location and you deliver your services to your customers at their locations. For example, you have a carpet shop where people come to buy from you, but you also provide a mobile carpet fitting service where you go to your customers' locations. If you're a hybrid business, then you need to have your street address showing on your profile and you also need to set your service areas. If you run a location-based business, you can probably stop watching because the rest of this video won't be applicable to you. But if you run a service-based business or a hybrid business, keep watching. So why is it important to set your service areas? If they don't help you to get more exposure in search results, what's the point? While your service areas aren't a ranking factor, they're a conversion factor. What I mean by this is they become important once someone has found your profile and opened it. At this point, the person is trying to decide whether they should contact you or not. One of the main questions in their mind will be, does this business work in my location? The quick and easy way for them to understand this is through your service areas. If you don't have them, or if you haven't fully completed them, then people won't be able to answer this question because they won't know if you cover their location. So it can lose you a significant amount of business. People don't want to waste their time. If there's any doubt in their mind about whether you cover their location or not, it can be enough for them to close your profile and go to a competitor. Clearly you don't want this to happen, so make sure you add a comprehensive list of places where you work. And this brings me on to a really important point around the types of places you should add as your service areas. You can add locations of all sizes, including villages, towns, cities, regions, or even whole countries as your service areas. So with all of this choice, what should you actually add? The first thing I would always recommend against is adding whole countries. Google Business Profile is designed for you to promote your business to local customers. It's not a tool that will get you exposure in a large geographical area. If you're based in London and someone searches for a business like yours in Edinburgh, you aren't going to show up in the search results. There'll be so many local options for Google to show. Why would they promote your business to people hundreds of miles away when they can call a business that's just around the corner? Even if you serve a large geographical area like the whole of the UK, I would always recommend that you focus on using your Google Business Profile to attract customers in your local area. So I wouldn't ever add service areas that are larger than a county. But you're always better to add the smallest places you can, like cities, towns, or even villages. As I said earlier, if someone sees a specific location in your list of service areas, it removes all doubt in their mind as to whether they should contact you. For example, if you just added Leeds, it can be ambiguous. People might not be totally sure how far from the centre of Leeds you'll actually travel, and again, it raises doubt in their mind. So the main thing that will drive the types of places you should add, whether it's counties, cities, towns, or villages, is the number of places you need to include, because your service areas are restricted to a list of 20 locations. If you serve an area like this, you'd need to add 40 villages just to get a full list of where you work. That's way beyond the 20 service areas limit. So I recommend you start with the towns and then add your most commonly served villages after. If you serve an area like this, start with the cities, then add the towns, and finally, if you have any space left, add your commonly served villages. Just make sure you always use all 20 slots to provide as much detail on your profile as you possibly can. Now on to the tip I promised you at the start of this video, and it's a really good one. As well as all the different types of places I covered earlier, villages, towns, cities, etc., you can also add postcodes as your service areas. You can either use the first part of a postcode like SW15, which will give you a fairly large area, or you can even use a full postcode like SW15-1PD, which will give you a much smaller area. But the reason this is such an effective tip is because it removes every bit of ambiguity and doubt about where you work. People know what their postcode is, so if they see the start of their postcode or their full postcode, they know straight away if you're a business they should contact. Again, if you just list Leeds as a service area, they'll probably think, where does Leeds start and end? Am I in or am I out? But if they see that you serve LS1 and they live in LS1, then they'll know for sure that they're in. Very few business owners use postcodes as their service areas, so the vast majority of people are providing a more ambiguous list of places on their Google business profiles, and they'll be losing out on customers. If you add postcodes and remove all doubt, then it'll help you to beat your competitors. So that's how to use service areas properly.